Let's dive in to the Splash Live.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Splash. We got here on Civic Center TV, a very busy day, a very big weather day. When we say possibly coming up with an ice warning for our area and a lot of other weather alerts. We'll get to that in just a couple of minutes and check in with our emergency coordinator for West Bloomfield. That is our Fire Chief Greg Flynn coming in here in a couple of minutes as well. Good morning and welcome to the Splash Live, part of 90 minutes of live television and radio each and every day right here on Civic Center TV at all of our outlets. I'm here now, Dave Scott, Tyler at 10. I'm sure he'll be adjusting for the weather as well today to get you as much helpful coverage as possible. We're here till 11 o'clock. And today, I might add that we will be here throughout the day as you need us on all of our outlets. And all of our outlets include Civic Center TV. Of course, you can tune in on Channel 15 Comcast, Channel 99 on AT&T. We're also on the web with some extra information in there today. I'll tell you about in just a moment, but it's Civic Center TV. A lot more information. Social media, you bet. Facebook and YouTube, both of their live video sources we use each and every day. And we also want to remind you that we are live on the radio, 89.3 Lakes FM. Really important to remind you about that today because, of course, if we run into some kind of a power emergency here in the area, 89.3 Lakes FM is a key source for information if you run into any trouble. And I don't want to paint this as a really ominous weather situation, but we plan for the worst and hope for the best. So if there were to be some kind of a power problem today or problem with the cellular network or any of those kind of things, or our services go out, 89.3 Lakes FM, good place to go if everything else is not available. So let's dig into the weather and take a look at that first of all. And we do have an ice storm warning. I'll read that for you in just a minute. But quick overview, 34 degrees now. And that is a real indicator today. You can look there on your screen, 34 degrees or low 28. And it just kind of depends on where the temperatures work out today as to what kind of a day we'll have weather-wise. But all the forecasters are saying in this stretch right here in the middle of the state, or the southern third of the state where we are, it's going to be ice. We'll have that information for you in a minute. But a wintry mix possible. Could be rain, could be snow. We'll see. Tomorrow, warming back up to 48 degrees, and Friday, cool off back down to 26. So let's take a look right now at what they are saying in the White Lake office of the National Weather Service. They say we have an ice storm warning, and it becomes effective today at noon and will continue on until 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning. What is this? Significant icing is expected. Some snow accumulation on top of that ice, and they say maybe 2 inches. Now they're saying, and this is, they bumped it up since yesterday, since we talked to the folks in White Lake. They're now saying 1/4 to 1/2 an inch of ice. If we get 1/2 inch of ice, that is a major ice event. And I don't know if you've seen the reports from DTE Energy and others, but you get 1/4 to 1/2 inch ice, and that's when tree limbs and power lines have all that additional weight, and it becomes an issue. Where certainly all across our viewing area in Oakland County continues today from really about noon, and we're not seeing the effects of this yet, so don't head out and say, oh, this is all weather hoopla. It could really happen, and continue on until 4 o'clock in the morning. Power outages, tree damage are likely, icy travel, the drive home from work or school, if your school happens to be open and many of them are closed, could be really a bit tricky. Then we're going to have some snow developing, of course, and possibly sleet, and that's going to continue throughout the day today. So be careful. Travel strongly discouraged as you get into the afternoon hours. So if you're going to work or you're already at work, you might want to think about if this ends up going the way that it could, maybe heading home a little bit early. And if you're an employer, think about letting your employees head home a little bit early. If you must travel, keep an extra flashlight, food and water in your vehicle, and just be prepared. That's what it's all about today. So to make this a little bit easier for you today, we have added a page to our website, and it's just the ICE page to make it simple. And there's a QR code. We'll put it up on our screen. You can scan that QR code. civiccentertv.com/ICE is the page. And I don't know, can you scroll down on that page when we get to that in a minute? We'll take a look. So here's a page. I think that's the updated version. I made it about a minute ago. So just scroll back up for a minute, Jared, if you would. So first of all, we've got a link to the National Weather Service office in White Lake. And that is, they've got the warnings up now, but they'll keep you up to date. All the maps, where the ice is falling, where the snow is falling. If you happen to be traveling today, you'll want to click on that because it'll show you what the weather's going to be like wherever you might be driving, and really, you don't want to be traveling today. There is a brand new service from DTE, a couple of them. First of all, link there so you can get outage alerts right in your phone. So you don't even need to go to their map page. But Jared, if you scroll down the page a little bit, you're going to see a picture of a mobile phone there, and that's the brand new DTE outage map on a mobile device that they just added. And it's really amazing. And that the map that DTE has is so great and helpful. If you don't use it during power outages, you're selling yourself short. It's a great place to go to. So we've got the video on the page that tells you how to work the map. And then there is a link to the map as well. It was just above that video. We'll play the video for you in a minute so you can see. But if you scroll up just for a second, Jared, and thanks for working with me here, you'll see the outage map. Go ahead and click on that DTE outage map link there. And then you're going to see the brand new outage map. You'll have to pop back out a little bit more and just X out of that teaser there for the video. But there's the brand new DTE outage map. And if you zoom back into West Bloomfield, you'll be able to see that you can see exactly where the outages are, how many people are affected. There's not a whole lot on there now, but if it gets busy later on this afternoon, you can zoom right into your neighborhood, literally right into your own house. Just keep zooming in for a minute, Jared. Just zoom in right on our Green Media Center there on Walnut Lake Road. You're right there. So you see that you'll see the outages right in your area. Very, very helpful information, and that link is on the ICE page. If we go back and can get back to the full ICE page now, just a couple of other things that are in there that will be very helpful for you. This video that we're going to roll for you, and then a lot of instructions about what to do during an outage. So here's some tips preparing for a power outage, making sure you have extra batteries and flashlights and bottled water. It wasn't all that long ago, I want to say maybe 10 years ago, that we had, maybe a little longer, I'm an old guy, the years start to blend together. The last really bad weather event we had in West Bloomfield was an ice storm. And that's why I'm doing everything I can to get prepared today, and I advise you to do the same thing. Now, again, maybe no big deal, but if we do have a bad ice storm and it impacts the entire metropolitan area, the power could be out for several days. And as it has been in the past, a lot of your services may be down. You may be without electricity. There's an awful lot that can happen. So take a look back to the ICE page and then take a look at these tips if you get some time today. And again, they're all from DTE Energy. So an awful lot there. As to how to work the new DTE map, we're running a little short on time here, but you can go to our page, click on the video, and watch it. And I think you'll find that very helpful and informative. So an awful lot going on today weather-wise. We're going to talk to Greg Flynn in a couple of minutes, and he'll bring us up to date on just some of the preparations that the fire and police department and others are making today. The basic information you need, civiccentertv.com/ICE, and you'll have everything. You're there, and I just promise you that we will be on guard today, and should there be any information that you need, especially very local information for our community, 89.3 Lakes FM, and then, of course, Civic Center TV. Tyler will be here all day along with our hardworking crew, and if we need to activate and get out in the community, I'll be out in the community with all of our remote broadcasting gear and keeping you up to date. So that's kind of what we're waking up to today weather-wise. Again, a ice warning for our area, and that means that we could have up to a half an inch, maybe more, maybe less, of ice on power lines and limbs, and it really can, and the road surfaces too, before the day is over. Hopefully not, but it could happen. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back, take a look at a couple of community events going on here in our community. That's what we do every day. And then we'll check in with the chief of our fire department, Greg Flynn, in just a moment. Good morning, I'm Dave Scott. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. It's that time of year, Greater West Bloomfield. Our towns gather together this March for the 5th annual State of the Communities. Important figures from Sylvan Lake, West Bloomfield, Orchard Lake, and Kego Harbor discuss the past year's projects and developments. Hear presentations from speakers, discussions on plans of action, and more. The 5th annual State of the Communities, March 13th at 7 p.m. at the new West Bloomfield Middle School.
Ronnie started doing prescription pills at the age of 15, and by 19 he died. If your child is struggling with drug use, try not to be too proud to reach out for help. Don't be worried about what the neighbor will think or your family. Just get your child the help they need. Sometimes it's the hard road to take, but the hard road is nothing compared to living with the fact that your child is no longer with you.
There's hope and help at drugfree.org. 1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy, and if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Splash Live. Dave Scott. You can see I got my bad weather gear on today. I got my hoodie. I got my rain jacket in the car. We don't know whether it's going to snow or rain. I got my winter boots on. I'm all ready. I hope you are ready too. CivicCenterTV.com/ice is all the information you want. Hopefully this will pass by, be no big deal. But if it is a big deal, we should all be ready, and we will be on our side of things. Checking in with us now from the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. Little ice isn't going to mess up her day. Suzanne Levine. Listen, we should be taking that ice, putting it in a cocktail, Suzanne. Shouldn't have to be driving around West Bloomfield with it, but it is what it is. How you doing today?
Ice, ice, baby, you know. That's,
So the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce is excited to host the 14th annual Health and Wellness event at the West Bloomfield Town Hall coming up in June. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, we're really excited once again to host this great public event. It's open to the public. It's free, with over 40 vendors in all different areas of health and wellness to help people make educated decisions about whether it's a lab, a doctor, perhaps it's a med spa. But these are all great health and wellness vendors, and they're here with great promotional items. So come on down June 14th. There'll be more information as we go along. We have some great sponsors: Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, as always, Corewell Health, Direct Hearing, Civic Center TV, and of course we love working with the township and West Bloomfield Parks and Rec.
Well, it's always a great event. You've done this many years, got a little bit messed up like everything did with COVID, but it's always a great event. People really enjoy it. It happens right in Town Hall, which makes it fun. If you don't get in Town Hall very often, good opportunity to do so. And an awful lot to learn. Health issues are critical here in our county, especially with our aging population. And in fact, the county is doing everything they can to survey us to find out exactly how health is, and how our health services are. But I think if you look right in our own little community, we probably have some bigger issues across our region, but right in our own community, we really have, with Beaumont and West Bloomfield Henry Ford Hospital and our amazing fire department and rescue services and all the doctors and practitioners that keep adding to and enhancing their services in our community. We really, I think are in better shape than most.
Absolutely. And what I've noticed, the trend now in businesses is health. Between med spas, we have drip IV therapy that's opening up with all kinds of really great health and wellness cocktails that can, help boost your immunity. We have Dr. Drake, who is transformational medicine with the newest thing is ketamine under a supervised kind of control to help people that have not been able to shake some of their depression, whether an anxiety with drugs. We have a lot of really great Great Lakes Medical Lab, which is a mobile medical lab that comes to your home or office or business, and they can even do COVID testing. So that seems to be the trend right now for businesses is health and wellness.
Well, it's absolutely great news that we're taking care of ourselves. So if people really want to get involved in this, maybe somebody would like to be a sponsor still or participate in the event as an exhibitor, is it too late or can they still get a hold of you and participate?
Absolutely. No, it's never too late. I always try to squeeze people in that kind of are like late bloomers. So all they have to do is either go to our website, westbloomfieldchamber.com. There's a form to fill out. They can call me at 248-626-3636. I'm always available by email, wbloomfieldchamber@gmail.com. I can give them more information about how to be a sponsor and what that involves. Or if they just want to buy a table, they can do that too. Non-chamber members are charged a little bit more to participate, but we welcome everyone. And of course, the public. This is free. This is such a great event from 11 to 2 to come on down and meet a lot of the businesses in your community, your neighbors in your community, and so and get to know them. And really, health and money are trust issues. So it's great to meet them one-on-one and learn about what they do and get some more information so that you can make informed decisions about your health going forward.
Suzanne, thank you very much for checking in on this today. Obviously, we will be very involved and keep in touch with you. And there's a lot of other business issues to chat about. Maybe we get together again before the week is over, but I got to get back to my weather reporting today.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Be careful out there on the roads, all right?
You too.
Okay.
You too.
All right. Suzanne Levine checking in for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber this morning. Couple other quick notes. Sylvan Lake Parks and Recreation Committee hosting their 10th annual chili cook-off and euchre tournament. Chili and euchre. Now that sounds like a lot of fun. It's going on this Friday, 7 o'clock until 10. And cost is only $10 per person. I believe it's all going to be going on at the community center. There'll be a winner for the outstanding chili recipe. More on that tomorrow if we have time, and we'll keep you up to date and certainly talk about that more on Friday as we head into the weekend. There's also a new deadline for the Michigan Week Committee. If you have a nomination for someone who's been volunteering here in our area, we would invite you to go to the Michigan Week website. We've extended the deadline for a couple of days. And if you know somebody that would like to that you think you would like to be honored for their volunteerism, that's the place to go. One final note here this morning before we get to Greg Flynn. Don't forget the 13th of March, we will be at West Bloomfield Middle School for the State of the Communities, where we find out all that's going on in our community from our elected leaders. Mark your calendar, the 13th of March. More on that again on another morning when we are not so busy. We're going to take a quick break. He is the chief of our West Bloomfield Fire Department and our emergency coordinator here in our area. Pretty important role, especially on a day like today where we may have some bad weather and problems due to ice. We'll check in with Chief Greg Flynn in just a moment. Good morning, I'm Dave Scott. This is Civic Center TV and the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. It's that time of year, Greater West Bloomfield. Our towns gather together this March for the 5th annual State of the Communities. Important figures from Sylvan Lake, West Bloomfield, Orchard Lake, and Kego Harbor discuss the past year's projects and developments. Hear presentations from speakers, discussions on plans of action, and more. The 5th annual State of the Communities, March 13th at 7 p.m. at the new West Bloomfield Middle School. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Splash Live. Dave Scott here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Our National Weather Service office in White Lake, right around the corner, is telling us today we have an ice storm warning. And they put that in effect when we can get up to a ½ an inch of ice on surfaces. Joining us now is our fire chief and emergency coordinator for West Bloomfield, Chief Greg Flynn. Thank you, sir, for being here on short notice. I hope it's not a busy day, but, you know, we, in your business, prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Dave, we have a resilient community that listens to their social media, listening to the news, prepared, and I think it's the regular messaging of preparedness and being ready to go when severe weather strikes that really positions us well for the weather that we see here in Michigan.
Well, and I always like to remind people the amazing resources that are available, and we put them on a page today. I know they're on your site, and the police do a great job through all the social media, but I put a page up, civiccentertv.com/ice, and one of the really good things that's there are NIXL alerts that let people know when there are problems in the community, and they get reported directly to them from the authorities, and that is a really handy resource.
Well, we want to get real-time information, intelligence out to our residents. That's that kind of transparency, that kind of understanding. Knowledge is power, and that's going to be part of the concern. Speaking of power, you know, when we get this ice that comes in and weighs on those power lines or weighs on on trees heavily and causes a compromise or pressure on those power lines. Losing power this time of year can be very challenging with cold, severe weather coming in.
Well, and I checked in with the DTE folks, and they've updated all of the resources. On the ICE page, you'll also find links to their new outage map, a new alerting system that they have, and I think you really like it, and an instructional video and a lot of other tips as well. I've always found their maps to be very, very helpful, so you know what's going on. But you're right, Chief Lynn, having an electricity outage this time of year can really mess things up. And as I think back on the worst weather events we've had here in West Bloomfield over the decades, ice is usually causing more problems than most.
You're right. It's water is our issue. While it's one of our greatest resources, it can really be an issue with us, especially in its different forms that it takes here in Michigan. And whether it's falling in a nice gentle blanket or coming down as rain in large quantities or coming down and freezing as it hits the ground. So, you know, Dave, when we talk about that power, though, we know that many of our residents may have alternative redundancy power within their homes, and they may do that via a gas-powered generator. It's very important that we remember that running those gas-powered generators does produce carbon monoxide, and understanding how to properly vent, meaning making sure there's adequate space around your generator so that exhaust, that silent, deadly gas isn't pumping into your living space, is very, very important. You know, often people, unfortunately, Dave, are concerned about the theft of or someone stealing their generator, so they may put it in their garage and then just crack that garage door. The problem is that air's pushing in, it's pressurizing the garage and not allowing the exhaust out, but rather pushing it through that entry door into the home, and that gas is seeping in through cracks and can start to poison the inside atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is one of those big household generators that some of us have, but we're not all fortunate to have. I've got a couple of those 1,000-watt Honda generators, and they work really good. Put them in the backyard away from the house, keep some extension cords, and just keep the essential things running in my home. And I assume that is a safe approach, but I hear about people putting these things in their garage, and that's just a terrible idea.
Those are terrible, and often we'll find that some people even cook in their garage based on some of their the foods that they have without a vent and proper screening around those that would normally meet building code within a kitchen, and so those can make us vulnerable. But specifically to your points today, great idea putting those generators in the backyard. Maybe have your yard fenced in, and there's some protection there, or chain it to a tree. But plan ahead, I think, is the big takeaway here. If we know this is coming, and we know West Bloomfield is beautiful with many trees, and from your own neighborhood whether or not you frequently experience power outages, and if you experience them from ice storms, likely to be an occurrence today.
A couple other things, we've seen some gas stations add generators, but not all of them have them. So if you got a couple of minutes, we don't want to, hoard gas this morning, but it might not be a bad idea to top off your car, or if you do have generators, make sure you got some gasoline. And then I found that Meijer actually has these little dry ice packets that you can get too. And just why not have one if you've got time? If you lose power for several days, then you start thinking about, losing all of your food, and it's an inconvenience. But Greg, those are all the inconveniences. These things can also turn into events where your lifesavers are out keeping people alive as well.
Well, those medical illness, the risk of fire, all of those things remain and exist, and even can have a higher risk, Dave, during severe weather events. So when we're contemplating, should I go and bring my trash cans in because the sleet has already started coming down and someone wants to get those out of the street, which we understand why, but they're at a higher risk for a slip and fall on that iced over surface. We know that fractures to hips and femurs can be detrimental and lethal to some at-risk populations within our community. So it all connects, and I think that's why having an informative conversation like we're having right now, and bringing to light some of these things, so that if I am out bringing in my trash cans, and I know that my neighbor who may have some challenges or be at risk,
sure,
that I can do that for them and play my part in community risk reduction and helping my neighbor out, because that's one of the great things about living here in the WB is neighbors helping neighbors.
You're a great neighbor and a great friend. Chief Greg Flynn joining us this morning for the West Bloomfield Fire Department. Hopefully we won't need to talk again today, but if we do, let's stay in touch. We'll have all of our resources on guard here. Travel not recommended for this afternoon, so do try to get the things done that you need to get done, and we'll keep an eye on the weather and continue to report it to you. Greg, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Dick.
All right, that's it. We're out of time. We got to go. Stay tuned all day. 89.3 Lakes FM, Civic Center TV, Nixle, all of the social media. Get all the alerts. Stay ahead of everything, and you'll be in great shape. Thank you very much for joining us on the Splash Live. Tyler steps in just a minute with more coverage, and we'll have coverage throughout the day as needed right here on all of our outlets. Have a great day. Thank you.